Oh, welcome to Teachers Teaching Teachers. It is May 8th, 2019, and we have an old friend here, Shantanu Saha, and you just sent me a YouTube link, but let's talk. I see that, but let's get going here.
Yeah, I know.
Shantanu, tell us where you still are teaching, and Chris Sloan teaches at Judge Memorial in Salt Lake City. And but we're going to put you on the hot seat tonight, Shantanu, and see where else we go here.
Okay.
Something about digital civic project, right?
Digital citizenship. That's what I'm teaching in my 9th grade classes, and I teach the entire 9th grade at my school.
Okay. And how many students is that?
This year it's 140 students. That's on top of the two pre-IB computer science classes that I'm teaching to the 10th grade for the first time this year. So
all right. So and as Chris, as you heard, I was starting to ask Shantanu to talk a little bit about computer science because I've gotten kind of interested in what that is all about, and and looks like Shantanu has an opinion about it, and he teaches it, I think. So we should talk about it. But let's get to your project here first. Say your school. Your baccalaureate.
I teach at the Baccalaureate School for Global Education. It's currently a 7th through 12th school in Queens, New York. Our objective is to qualify and actually teach and get students to pass the International Baccalaureate diploma. So all students in the school, if they stay in the school through 12th grade, whether they enter in the 7th or 9th grade, we expect them that by the end of their tenure at our school, they will pass the six exams in the International Baccalaureate array of exams.
Is technology one of those or no?
So computer science is one of them, and
really, one of the 7.
One of the 6.
One of the 6.
Okay.
Wow.
So they have to take English, which they call language A, because language A can be a different language in other parts of the world. Language B, which is we are crazy enough to teach 3 languages at our school, and so we have continual problems in offering languages every year. So right now we're teaching at the IB level. We're teaching French and Spanish. Then they have to take a history course, a humanities course. So they're taking history of the Americas. They have to take a science course, which in our school, we at the IB level, we're offering biology or chemistry. They have to take a math course, which in our school is either math studies or math SL, which is called standard level. There's standard level and higher level classes.
Cool.
And then they have to take a 6th course, which is usually in the arts category, but the 6th course is the most flexible. So instead of visual arts, we're planning to offer computer science for the current 10th grade. So so next year in the 11th grade and the 12th grade, I'm supposed to take the group that I currently have through the IB computer science exam.
Well, so welcome back. I haven't talked to you in a long time.
Yes.
It's been nice to have you here. Go ahead.
Swamped the last couple of years.
Yeah. Swamped by having so many kids to teach and by union responsibilities, that kind of thing? And how old is your son now?
He's 8.
8, okay. That'll swamp anybody.
And of course, one of the things that he demands every night is I have to read to him for half an hour. And that's why I couldn't be at your 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock hour. Yeah, got it.
Mhm.
Okay, so let's focus in on that one project. Although it sounds like it's been a semester-long project so far.
Right. It's a semester-long project. I call it digital activism. It was inspired last year, with the whole drama around the Marjorie Stoneman high school, and the shootings there, and the resolve of the students at that school to turn their tragedy into something positive by becoming activists around gun control and so on. Last year, as I was trying to figure out a culminating project for my ninth grade classes last year, I struck upon digital activism, and had the students do a variety of things around digital advocacy, creating blogs, using social media, creating petitions, and all that. Last year, I made it a month-long project, and I required them to do a lot of stuff in 1 month.
Mhm.
And because it was only a month long, it wasn't very successful. Okay, in terms of their ability to get build an audience and get other people to view their work and so on. And so this year, I decided that I would relax it a little bit and make it a semester-long project. And instead of trying to introduce ideas, strategies and ideas furiously over the course of 1 month, I would do it over the course of 3 months, 4 months actually. I only meet these kids twice a week. So what I do is on the first day of the week that I meet with them, I give them a new strategy or give them something to do. And then the second day, they're working on writing on their blogs and using the strategies that I identified to them that week. And the 3 weeks before the break, I had them work on multimedia presentations that they then were going to put up on their blogs and promote on social media. And that's what we're doing this week. Is actually this week is when they're promoting their presentations on social media. Last week we had them show their presentations to one another. We had them peer review them, and then start to blog a little bit about that. And then this week is when I taught them how to actually post them properly on their blogs and on social media.
Cool. And then, where is Youth Voices in it? Youth Voices is sort of like another social media outlet for them
Youth
to
Voices
promote.
is going to become another social media outlet for them. Okay, and since it's a curated outlet where the participants are encouraged to participate by looking at one another's work and critiquing it and giving feedback and so on, I thought this would be a good way. Once they've had the experience of critiquing one another's work in-house, then allowing them to post it for other students to see, and then having conversations around that. That's what I wanted to do next week.
Chris, any quick questions as we get started here?
Well, I guess I was kind of curious about seeing some of them, that's for sure. And then I guess I have a schedule question. So how...
Because your kids are graduating in a
Yeah,
week.
my students actually finish next week.
Right.
So how long does this project go?
Until June.
Okay, June.
So basically, my objective is by the end of May, the project will sort of run its course by the end of May, and that they'll do a culminating exercise where they reflect back on the entire thing and see if they've managed to grab an audience of any kind, or find find other people with who are also doing the same kind of advocacy, and seeing if they can make connections with them, and sort of reflect on that experience as their final act before we close up for the year.
Yeah. So, I mean, my follow up is, I'd like to see some of the things, or hear some of the things they're concerned about or advocating for, because it just strikes me as the students in the Life Academy are likely collaborators. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I sent you that link, right?
Oh, okay.
But that's okay. But he may have missed it. And all the back and forth email recently. I sent a link to the Life Academy folks.
Mm-hmm.
Those kids. So describe also, because similarly they became groups and posted together. Is that true in your case too, or does each student have their own blog?
So I gave them the option. If they wanted to work alone, they could make their own blog. If they wanted to work as a group, they would coalesce around a topic and then create a blog around that. And so the only limitation I made is that the maximum size of any group would be 4 students.
Mm-hmm. And so did they do that, or what happened?
The majority of students decided to form small groups. In most of my classes, I have most of the students are in groups of 3 or 4.
Mm-hmm.
And there are a few students who are working in groups of 2, and a few sort of independent spirits who want to do their own thing in each class.
So I hear how short the time is, but I mean, in short, each week that you have. I'm looking something up here. Here, sure, it's category upstander. Yeah, I'll put a link on the front on this too.
Okay.
But if I go to the right place, then I'll share my screen. Yeah, it worked. So these kids in Oakland, and Nina Portugal was on last week. Lost her name there for a second. Talking about this, but do you see the screen here, Shantanu?
Yeah.
So it would be. Would it be? Well, I think it would be, but I think it would be interesting for your kids to go in and see what these folks are going to.
Right.
So there's climate change. There's ally to LGBT community. Similarly, I think it's similar. Part of what they're doing, and there's a little follow through that we need to do on this, but they each created an Instagram account, and so they're tracking. Well, it looks like they took off my clip. They're tracking their activism during the week on this Instagram account. But what they did is they wrote letters to either an advocate or somebody opposed to what they're talking about, and did a whole research project around it.
Right.
So that might be nice to connect with those kids.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. No, so let's start here though, and then think about, are your kids doing the same issues, do you think? Is it global warming? Is it foster care? Is it domestic violence?
Kids who are doing global warming. There are kids who are doing things like domestic violence. There are a couple of kids in the Black Lives Matter area. There are even a couple of groups who are pushing for the legalization of marijuana.
Yeah, I don't see that one here. It's interesting, but yeah.
And so
Any food deserts, folks, or food in general, right?
I don't remember. I don't think I have any kids working on food issues.
Okay.
There are kids working on animal rights issues. Let's see, what else? Just off the top of my head, animal rights.
Any immigration? Usually there's some immigration.
Immigration, LGBTQ rights.
So this,
There
by
are
the way,
also kids who are doing very local concerns like cleaning up the subways in New York City, and so on.
cool.
And so I said they could do any issue, whether it be local, regional, or national, or even global. But to try as much as possible, whatever their issue, to localize it, because they would have more of a chance of making an impact if they were to localize an issue rather than globalize it.
All right, so we're waiting for you. Do you want to share a screen and show us some of the stuff? Does that make sense? Or yeah.
Let me do that.
So, Chris, your kids are done next week?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
They are wrapping it up.
And when are you done? I mean, when do you go? Do you go to Ireland?
Memorial Day, we're all done.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Everybody's completely out the building.
And you go after that, I assume, to Ireland?
Yeah, not until mid-June.
Oh, okay. I'm going to be in France in mid-June. We should hook up.
All right. Just across the channel.
Okay.
Yes, indeed.
So this is one that.
So this is a YouTube channel?
This is a YouTube channel.
Okay.
It's called BSGE Tech Videos. I started it last year, specifically because as a place.
Wait, say that again. What is it called?
BSG.
Tech
videos is the acronym.
Yeah. I got you. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And tech videos, and so.
Okay. So if we just search that, we can find it.
You should be able to find it.
Public.
I've made it public.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
So this is a presentation that one student did in Powtoon, and this was acclaimed by the entire class as one of the best that the class produced.
You're starting at the best?
It just so happened that
I'm teasing you.
She was able. This was the last one put up because I couldn't access her video from without her logging into her account, and so
got it. Yeah.
And so that happened actually today in class.
So it's not very long. Do you want to play it? Let's see. Yeah. I hope we'll be able to hear it. Is there sound?
There should be sound.
Okay, now there's.
It flourished during the World War II as a way to provide for communities. While these gardens have benefited us before, they can still benefit us today. According to Terry Dougler and Darcy Friedman, coordinated peoples with hardships associated with the World War and Great Depression, community gardens and participation became universal. To add, throughout history, community gardens have come and gone in conjunction with the social economic climate of the country, and later made a comeback in the early 1970s when food prices soared and a broadening environmental consciousness arose. There are several social benefits of community gardens. According to researchers such as Gregory Mintz and Phil McManus, benefits include greater environmental education, activism, and organization, increased awareness about the food and the environment, reconnection of the people to the land, and the promotion of sustainable practices and ecological citizenship. Community gardens can also result in stronger social support networks, greater social cohesion, increased connectivity, and greater engagement in the community. Not only that, as Jennifer Witheridge and Nina Moore stated, they provide as a local food source, lessening the environmental impacts of transportation, and if organic, pesticides and fertilizers within the wider food industry. You can plant vegetables and fruits for your own benefits instead of having to buy them. I think it's much healthier because you don't want fertilizers and other materials was used to create your own produce. The There are several advantages to these gardens. You can learn more at my website at projectgarden.home.blog.
That's her blog.
So that music is part of the Powtoon?
Yeah, it's actually
Okay.
this student used Animaker rather than Powtoon. So.
Oh, okay. So how much do you like teach Powtoon or Animaker or whatever?
I don't teach Powtoon or Animaker at all. Okay, I tell them what I did in a previous unit in the fall. I showed them how to use Adobe Spark, which is an online video editor.
Yeah, and how are you liking that?
It's good. Because it's online, I don't have to deal with issues of like for iMovie of it being tied to
Sure
device, right? And so,
but can they do enough on the freemium or not?
On the
well, whatever, the free version.
On the free version, they can upload 30 seconds of video at a time. So as long as they know to upload their video clips at 30-second chunks,
doesn't matter. Cool.
Doesn't matter.
That's worth knowing.
They can make their final video as long as they want.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah. That was
can you go to her video, to her website? I'd like to see it. And are they using WordPress or what are they using?
They're using WordPress. I had let me create a.
And that was your decision for them?
Yeah, mainly because I was familiar with WordPress, and WordPress is essentially the most popular blogging software out there. So let me. I'll have to try this again. I've forgotten her.
How do you keep track of all of their sites? Or how many are there? Are there?
I had them make me an editor of each of their blogs. So there are 80 of them. So so I don't projectgarden.home.blog. Okay, so that's where I'm going to go. My sites.
By the way, you mentioned that you didn't think any of your kids were dealing with food, and then you showed this one.
Hers is about community gardens.
I know, but it's also about food.
Yes, I know, but
yeah, okay. Just saying. Just saying that she might find a connection with that food, with those kids who are doing food in Oakland. The connection doesn't have to be right on the head.
Right.
No.
Okay, let me just go to.
What are you doing?
There we go.
There we go.
Let's click visit site to see the site in all its glory.
So what has she done on the blog? Totally curious.
So what I have the students do is, in general, I ask them to write 2 blog posts per week.
Wow.
Each student. Okay, and so if it is if it's a blog that has 4 students, if it's 4 students, then that blog will, if the students are all doing their work, they will be generating 8 blog posts a week. And over the course of the time between February and now, each week I've given them a different kind of blog post that they can make, and so their repertoire of blog posts has been expanding over time. And so one of the kinds of blog posts that they, for instance, they can make an informational blog post. They can research a topic that relates to their main issue and find an article, quote it, and make a response to it. They can reblog another WordPress blog. So they go into their WordPress reader, find a blog that that is similar to theirs, or a blog post that relates to their blog, and then reblog it and discuss it. Another thing that I had them do is make memes. So that was fairly popular, except for one class rebelled against the entire issue of making memes at all, because and it turned out to be an interesting but frustrating class period where I was trying to convince them to try to do a meme, and they were all saying, "But memes are so jokey, and our projects are serious, and we can't do anything jokey on a serious project." And a month later, most of them were doing memes. Mainly because doing memes for them seemed to be fairly easy.
Right, and they're big consumers of memes too.
And they're big consumers of memes, right? And
so I'm sharing my screen now, I think,
mm-hmm.
But I'm on her blog. So I want to go back and find that meme. Let's see. There we go. Is this her meme?
This is one of the.
Wait, is how many kids? Is this a group blog, or is this?
This student is making a blog. Is a single student. A single student.
So, no shade in this question, just open question. Talk to us about. You've been on Youth Voices. You've done it this way, and you're bringing them back to Youth Voices in a way. Talk about the difference. What's it feel like? I mean, are they getting comments? Are they?
So
that was a lot of questions in there. You answered
a range of responses. Some students are getting a lot of response. Some students are not getting a lot of response.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of it tends to, a lot of the response tends to follow how the students try to promote it on their social media. Some students created new social media accounts specifically for this project, and so and I told them, if you're using a newly created account, who are your followers, right? And if you have no followers, then trying to promote something on an account on which you have no followers, you're probably not going to get a lot of traffic onto your blog because of that. And so those students who use their existing social media to try to popularize their work seem to have gotten a little bit more in the way of a response.
Yeah, I get some pushback from kids who don't want to, like they see their social media a lot of times as kind of entertainment and friend connections. And so a lot of them don't want to put schoolwork on there.
Yeah, but then they need to build something around it. Yeah.
Right.
Cool. Now, if so, I'm not clear here. Still, this is just Karina's blog?
Yeah.
Okay. Good to know. So, if Karina puts something up on, and we looked at her Powtoon, she's going to put Powtoon on Youth Voices and then invite people to come to this blog.
Right.
And do what? Comment on things they find there?
And comment on things that they find there.
And so is everybody's blog as open as her is for comments?
They should be.
Okay, got it.
I haven't looked at every single blog to see whether or not it's open for comments, but
okay, got it.
The blogs that I have seen have, by default they're open for comments. So unless the students have consciously closed them for comments, they should be open.
Yeah, so I'm noticing a lot of different media on here. So this girl has a photo, so she went to a garden, it looks like.
Right.
They're doing, I noticed even in your YouTube channel, they've got not only Powtoons, but some of doing videos there.
Right.
Yeah. So
The majority of them did either videos by collecting video clips and doing narration on Adobe Spark, or they created PowerPoint slideshows and turned them into videos.
So, should we look at another one?
Okay.
Does that make sense? I'll stop sharing.
yeah. So I guess my question was, do you? So it sounded like the memes were maybe. I'm going to introduce memes this week. You guys go with it if you want to. And then, are they just, they know about Powtoons and Spark on their own, or do you kind of guide particular media for the week?
So the multimedia projects were 3 weeks sort of mini project that I had them do. Where the first week I had them do research and gather information. The second week I had them write a script or outline for their presentation, and the third week, which is the week before the break, they were working on their actual presentations. And so if they couldn't finish it that week, then they had the whole break to finish it before it had to be delivered. And a lot of the individual skills around making these I had taught previously.
Around making the multimedia?
Around making multimedia. Videos and specifically, I had them create informational videos around another topic of their choice in the fall. And one of the features of the fall project was that they had to spend at least 10 seconds on screen talking to the camera. So this was something that I had identified many years ago. Students are very, very reluctant to put their face on camera. And so I wanted them to get over that hump. And so I said this was non-negotiable for essentially most of the students. There were a couple of students who I exempted because they had either religious objections or other types of objections, like they're LGBTQ, and they wanted to, they had a privacy issue there. But otherwise, it was about getting over their fear or embarrassment. Since it was only 10 seconds, and they could do the rest through narration, everything was, most of the students were able to get over that hump and were able to complete that project.
So are you ready to show more, or should I try?
If you want to try, you can.
I don't know if it'll play
It
the
might be
same.
better for you to select them because.
Well, so I'm going to select this one.
Okay.
Did I share it yet? I didn't, right? Okay,
No.
share. There we go. How about that?
Yeah.
Okay. And let's see if it plays. So police brutality, what is it, and what do people think? So these are 9th graders?
These are 9th graders, yes.
You know, that so are the ones in Oakland, so that's interesting. Can you hear it?
Not yet.
There's no sound?
Some students.
There is sound on here, though.
Can use sound. And sound has been a recurring problem with these videos because they don't speak loud enough when they do narration or when they capture the video.
No, I'm asking if you have any sound, because I think Hangouts do something funny. Like, you can't hear.
I can't.
There was loud music on there. You couldn't hear it?
I couldn't hear it.
No.
Okay, so you're going to have to share, because we could hear it when you did it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why that's true.
It may be because I have my sound up.
I don't know. Could just be that. Let me try that. Wait, if I pull this out and then just play it like that? Okay. Let's see.
I agree with Anya.
There we
Yeah,
go.
of course.
Like the same
Is there
thing
sound
that we
now?
always, like, see it in
Yeah.
movies and stuff,
Okay, hold on. Let me turn it up a
specific
little bit.
races are affected by it.
And I'll go back to the beginning.
Lots of like movements to help
Stop.
it.
Oh, you can't stop it there. Hold on. Just being done. Okay. Back to the beginning. Turn the sound up so you can hear even better. And here we go. Okay.
Is police brutality a problem and why? I think it most definitely is because many people are targeted, especially specific races, by cops, and a lot of cops assume that specific races are like a threat. I agree with Anya because I feel like the same thing, like we always like see it in the news and stuff on how like specific races are affected by it, and like there's lots of like movements to help it.
I believe that police brutality is a crime. There's cops misusing their power over black people and other races.
Yes, I believe police brutality is a problem because although police officers are supposed to do their duty by helping us and helping everyone equally, they instead sometimes decide to brutalize other races in favor of their own race.
Yes, police brutality is a problem because, some people try to mind their own business, and sometimes when they get pulled over by the cops, there's always like confrontation or like something wrong. And sometimes because the police officer feels disrespected, they will retaliate by shooting. So yes. I think police brutality is a very bad crime because it's under the law. It's under the law that you shouldn't shoot an innocent person.
Yes, police brutality is a problem because a lot of people are killed every day.
Police brutality is a problem because innocent people are dying.
Police brutality is a problem because many races are being killed and are unarmed.
Yes, police brutality is a problem because people of different races are treated differently by the police. Yes, because there's a double standard in police brutality.
I think it is a problem since they can misuse their power.
Okay,
I do believe police brutality is a problem because it affects a lot of people. I'm speaking loud enough because it affects a lot of people in many different areas of the world.
So, hi. We're back here.
We provide mostly government clients
Hold on.
at the local, state, and federal level.
There's another video playing in my background. Can you hear me again? Yeah, we're back, right?
Yep.
Good. And I'm not totally plugged in.
Yeah, a couple questions about the production, Shantanu.
Yeah.
So the girl was holding a phone.
Yeah.
For the audio. So then
I don't think she was actually capturing any audio on the phone. I think she was just using it as a prop.
Okay. I was wondering. I was going to ask if they.
And she was capturing the audio with the phone camera that I guess her friend was using.
Yeah. Okay.
And she ended up interviewing all 28 other students in the class, and she came to me just before the project was due, saying, "I can't finish this." And I said, "Okay, you don't have to show all 28 students. Just pick a few of them," and that's what she ended up doing.
So, and how did she edit it?
I think she edited it on iMovie. On her phone.
Really?
Yes, a lot of these kids end up editing everything on their phones. Okay.
Wow.
And I actually showed them that they could actually download the Adobe Spark app and edit it on their phones as well. So if they were working on Adobe Spark on their computers, if they have an iPhone, there's an Adobe Spark iPhone app, iOS app that they can use. And a lot of the kids have iPhones, so they ended up doing that. Mainly because either they don't have a computer at home, or the computer at home that they have is lame, and if they have an iPhone, they can do all the work on that phone. So yeah, a lot of these projects were created on phones.
So when a youth comes on to these presentations on Youth Voices, where do they, is it going to be clear to them? I'm worried that it's going to be a little confusing. Do I respond there on Youth Voices, or do I go to the blog to respond?
So what I'm going to do is the first thing that I want them to do is to try to find a kindred spirit on Youth Voices. Like, find someone else who's writing about the same issue or a similar issue.
That's nice, yeah.
And respond to them. Okay. Then to write a blog post on Youth Voices that introduces their video, has a link to their blog, and invites them to come back to their blog to look at their other blog posts and comment on them.
Just to brainstorm, they could actually turn off commenting on Youth Voices.
Right. We could actually do that. And
I don't know if you want to do that. Because on the other hand, just argue the both sides. It wouldn't matter where the commenting happened, right?
It really wouldn't matter.
Okay. So leave it open. Yeah.
So, but I do want them to invite other students on Youth Voices to come back and view their blogs and comment on them.
So the blog they're going to do on Youth Voices, is that going to be kind of a summary thing, or here's my takeaway, or is it part of the process still?
It's still part of the process, right? They're using it as a way of trying to drive viewers back to their blog, right?
So it's mainly the presentations, the two we saw.
Mainly the presentations.
That's what goes up, right?
Because one of the things we've discussed over the course of doing the multimedia presentations is that multimedia is one way of attracting eyeballs, and it's inherently more attractive than a lot of other things that they could do, like writing long blog posts.
Chris, was that did you get that question answered though? I don't know.
Yeah, I was just clarifying, because I was just thinking, like, was it going to be something like, here's my takeaway, and now if you want to see how I got here, here's the steps I took to it. But the other thing is fine too. I was just wondering, what was the purpose of this writing? So this is another step in the process, and it's a way to get people to engage with their own blogs. Yeah.
Right.
And maybe you've thought of this already, but I'm also wondering, when I looked through the garden blog,
right,
I wasn't sure what I was being asked to do. I mean, when I got to the change petition, I could sign the change petition. Could there be? Are they going to add, or is that in the presentations already? Could there be a guide for here are the 5 best, or the 3 best things to do on my blog? Is that?
I'm gonna. My plan is to have them try to give, in their posts on Youth Voices, to give them.
It has the presentation on it, right?
Right.
Yeah, okay.
So it will have the multimedia presentation, but it will also have at least 2 to 3 other blog posts that they want to showcase to the Youth Voices crowd.
Oh, you mean Oh, posts. How are you going to do that? Can they can just embed them, or
They should be able to embed them. Their blogs have a reblog button. So unless they've disabled it, they can actually use WordPress's reblog utility to embed it on their Youth Voices post.
what's it give them when they reblog? It gives them a
It gives a
URL. I mean, an embed code.
It gives an embed code, and it gives you the opportunity to write a little bit of a blurb to go along with it. So my question is, I'm going to have to do this over the weekend to see whether or not that's going to end up being a separate post for each blog post they want to highlight, or if they can do it as a single post.
Well, there is an HTML block that they could just pop it in there, probably.
I just haven't been teaching them the HTML, so
yeah. But if they could just use the embed code and drop it in there, probably.
Right.
I think, yeah. Up to you. Yeah.
My only reluctance there is that one of the classes has a lot of special ed students in it, and several of the classes have students who are not very attentive when it comes to technical matters. And so when I teach them more technical stuff, it becomes a chore to get them to do it properly.
Sure.
I try to give, with the ninth grade, I try to limit the technical aspect of the work to stuff that I feel can be handled by the vast majority of students.
So what else do you want to show us or ask us or talk about?
Well, it's been a while since I've been on Youth Voices. I wasn't on it at all last year. So what's going on?
What's going on? Chris, you have an answer to that?
Well, I mean, the obvious connection that we talked about already, the upstander posts.
Oh, yeah. And I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead. It just reminded me to say, I think your projects are close enough to actually use that category also.
Mm-hmm.
Have just in categories, have them find upstander and click that. Does that sound okay? That way, that might be a way for everybody to find each other then, right?
Especially if I can tell them to simply use that category when they're posting on Youth Voices, then
and or you or I can go back and make sure to add it later. Yeah, but yes, they should use it. Trying to remember, it's been over a year. You said so. One of the things that feels a little different, and I will set this up for baccalaureate too, is there is an easy way to see everybody's from your school, right? So another way to find the Oakland kids is by clicking on the life. Was I sharing when I did that? So yeah, I am, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So so baccalaureate, I'll get an icon for you guys too, so you'll have your own page. So all of the work is kind of here.
Okay.
And Paul, while you're showing your screen, you might show what the upstander looks like as well. How would Shantanu students find the upstander?
Yeah. So what I haven't refreshed this little the sentence here. I will. Yeah, April's poetry. So I'll just replace this sentence and say, check out these upstander blogs.
Okay.
Or posts. But if you just go category, maybe, yeah. I could do a I'll let you know what I do.
Okay.
I think it's I just misspelled it.
Yeah.
I could do a redirect and just so they could just go to youthvoices.live/upstander and it'll go to this category.
Okay.
Okay. And then that way they'll be able to find their stuff too. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Worth knowing that as you scroll down here, I'm looking at the dates. Last year's upstanders are here too, so that might, they won't find those kids anyway, the 2018 ones.
Right.
Okay. So it ends sort of on food deserts. But so this is chronological that way.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just wondering though that if you search for police, was that police brutality or police? What was that video we watched?
Police brutality?
It was brutality.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to see what happens. Yeah, plenty there.
Yeah.
But again, may or may not be still around, right? It's in there. So you know how to show them that. Right?
Yep.
So if I'm looking at these first three, this person is probably still around.
Right.
Cool. Actually, amazing. There are 200 posts in here about police brutality.
So how are they? Is it by relevance, Paul, that it's sorting those then?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. And it reads both within the title and the post itself.
There's not a little switch you can flip to turn it to most recent.
Chronological. There is not.
Okay.
Be nice, but there isn't. So yeah, there we go. What else, Shantanu? I don't know what else let's see.
Well, I think Shantanu's point of having them try to find kindred spirits is a good way for them, to comment first and to kind of critique other people's or to see what they're up to.
Right.
You asked if the sign-in works. It does work. I then have to go back to the page, unfortunately. But, and part of that, though, is that it wouldn't have to be. They're going to find different things. They're going to find long, deep research projects. They're going to find quick poems. That's sort of could be interesting, right? And fun, if they see it that way. But you might explore, if you scroll across here, you can see where they're from. You might say, oh, let me find out these kids in Texas are saying, those kids out in Salt Lake City are saying, right? So there's that possibility to look at too. A way to kind of sift through things. I don't know what else to suggest. The guides are up and working well. Would recommend, of course, they use a commenting guide. That's sort of up to you. And all those links were broken last time you saw it, probably, but they're all working.
Okay.
There is an easy way to see everybody's comments here now, too, which is kind of nice. You get a sense of what the most recent commenting that's going on.
Okay.
Otherwise, we try to keep it. We try not to change it every 3 weeks.
Well, part of my problem the last couple of years is that the bandwidth at my school was so crappy, at least until
I remember
last year, where last year was where we finally got it from 10 megabits per second to 100 megabits per second. And
that's a leap.
That was a big leap. And
and so I think the site doesn't have any sort of hang-up problems anymore. So
that was one of the things that I did this week, was to try the site on school property to see how well it was performing. And I had no problem, and that's why I decided
Well, good to know.
to go forward with this.
Okay. I don't know what else. I do want to. So, really great to have you back. I really like how you're messing around and pushing us in different directions. Cool.
Yep.
Yeah, I had one last schedule question too. Shantanu, do you know when they might be posting on Youth Voices? If my kids have just a week left, I'm thinking.
So it will be next week.
Okay.
It will be all week, basically.
I think it's summer school for your kids, Chris.
Some are still game though, if they're in class, you know.
Absolutely.
So the structure of my classes, my 9th grade classes, are I have them 2 periods per week. Okay. The class that I have on Monday, I don't see until Friday. And then I have I have 2 classes on Tuesday, one of whom I see on Friday and one of whom I see on Wednesday. Then I have another class on Wednesday that I see on Thursday. Then I have another class on Thursday that I see on Friday. So aside from the 2 classes on Monday and Tuesday, I basically see them on consecutive days. Most of the classes on consecutive days. I see 3 of the classes on consecutive days and 3 of the classes spaced wide apart.
So I think we're gonna miss Chris's kids. Gotta say.
Yeah, because
Nina emailed and said, "Oh, I can't come tonight. She teaches yoga, but I really, really want to connect." So she knows you're doing this, and so when I put the 2 of you together, follow up on that. I think that'll be great.
Yeah.
All right, and then what was I also going to say? Oh, for some reason there is a civic learning group. Chris, you've been involved in that group, and there's like a new. There are 2 new schools from Chicago from that group coming on, and a couple of others from elsewhere. So
onto Youth Voices.
Onto Youth Voices this week. Yeah. When I leave here, I'm going to put somebody else on. Yeah, and I don't know what's going on. Like, why are they still in school? But but it's happening. We'll see. So that there's maybe a possibility there. So we'll try to stir some things up about all that. Just wanted to try to think about one of the. Oh, I was going to ask, do you ever see these kids again? Sounds like you might. Yeah.
Me or Shantanu?
No. Shantanu, do you ever see?
So last year's group of 9th graders.
Yeah.
I had 5 classes.
Yeah, I'm afraid I'm asking a union question, am I? So
no. What?
Okay.
So what happens is that in my school, at the end of 9th grade, students declare a preference, and last year they basically divided the 9th grade, which is this year's 10th grade. We ended up with 4 classes, and 2 of the classes are going to take art, and 2 of the classes are going to take computer science.
All right. So you might
have about half of last year's 9th graders in the 10th grade this year.
So you might be able to kick off with seeing what responses happen back up in May, in September. That could happen, right?
That could happen, although the focus there is going to be on building their computer programming skills. So what I would probably end up doing this as their September work before launching them on their journey into becoming coders.
I get it. So, which I want to talk to you more about, but not tonight. Yeah. So you teach computer science next year?
Yep.
And you're teaching it now?
I'm teaching basic coding now. Next year, it's going to be the IB computer science curriculum. the first of 2 years of it.
Okay. Let's definitely plan to hook up around all that.
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah, because I think there's some natural fits between what we're doing and that computer science stuff, I think.
Right.
And it'd be great if you were part of that dialogue. And it's, I'm going to send you an article and stuff
Okay.
that we're dealing with at the writing project. So cool.
Well, the ironic thing is that I will probably not be teaching ninth graders next year.
Right.
We're probably going to try to hire a second computer science teacher for
Cool.
the first time in 10 years. So,
Well, congratulations.
I don't know if congratulations are in order or if I have to worry about shepherding a brand new teacher who doesn't know how to do anything.
Well, congratulations.
Mm-hmm.
I said it again. All right. So thanks a lot, Shantanu, for showing us the work. And let's keep connecting.
Yep.
See you again, Chris.
All right. Thanks.
Thank you. Bye.
All right.